Hi, crime lovers. You ready to scream? This one literally will make you scream, and it's also the inspiration for the Halloween movie Scream. This is the story of Danny Rowland, the 6'2" boogeyman known as the Gainesville Ripper, who inspired the movie Scream. Well, this boogeyman and serial killer terrorized college students and murdered 5 University of Florida students in Gainesville, Florida. That actually is where I went to school, and around the time I was there, this terrorized and gripped fear on the entire campus. And it was really, truly almost like Jack the Ripper. This guy was demented and twisted, and the story is really horrific. So, Danny was born in 1954 in Shreveport, Louisiana. His mom was Claudia, and she was only 19 when she had him. She had married a police officer named James, and he was even decorated with Korean War medals from the war. And they said his father was really abusive. He could have had post-traumatic stress disorder, but Danny and his father just he was not going to have this loving father. They said his father didn't want children. He was a cop, and he abused his wife and children. His father even abused him because he wasn't crawling as a baby correctly. This was abuse at 1 year old. And Danny even had trouble in school. In 3rd grade, he failed and was absent. They said his mother was having a nervous breakdown, and school counselors described Danny Rowland as suffering from an inferiority complex and had aggressive tendencies and even poor impulse control. Well, he just did not have a good start in life. At age 11, he did pick up some music to try to deal with his abusive father. He even played guitar and sang hymn songs. They said his mother was committed to a hospital after she had slit her wrists. And then Danny picked up drugs and alcohol, and his mind was already in this fragile mental state. This is, any child that's growing up in this terrorizing family with abusive father and a mother who tried to, commit suicide. It's just so much abuse in this family. So no wonder this guy turned into this monster. At age 14, Danny's neighbors caught him peeping into their daughter's room. So then his father beat him for doing that. And then they said he attended church and to try to deal with it. He tried to join the Navy, but he was rejected, and then he joined the Air Force. But the Air Force kicked him out in 1972 after getting busted for drug possession. And they said that he took acid more than 100 times while he was really trying to release his pain, or this was just not a good combination. Drugs, abuse, mental distress. So he's discharged from the military, and then he did find someone, and he did get married. But the cycle of abuse continued. At age 23, he was only with his wife 4 years, and they separated. And he threatened to kill her. And that was 1977. Then Danny's anger just fueled, and this was the fire to fuel his anger and rage and mental state. They said he raped a woman who closely resembled his ex-wife, and then he killed a woman in a car accident, which even made him, which would trouble him and enrage him, and his mental state just is not getting any better. This is just a time bomb ready to tick and explode like a volcano that will erupt into terror. And so then Danny went on several armed robberies in the South, which led to his arrest and incarnation in Jackson, Georgia in 1979. So he was in and out of jail. They said he even escaped jail. He was in jail in Alabama and Mississippi for armed robbery. Then he was traveling the country, and he stealed, and he even forced himself on several women. So then he went back to Shreveport, Louisiana in 1989. There, he was fired from his job at a restaurant. Oh no, this could fuel anger and hatred, and he needed to release his rage. The night he was fired from the restaurant, he broke into a home, killing 24-year-old Julie Grimson, her 8-year-old nephew Sean, and even her father Tom, who was 55 years old. There were bite marks on Julie, and Danny arranged her body on the bed with her legs spread. This sadistic killer was just exploding with rage. So the bodies were found, and then in May 1990, he shot his 58-year-old father twice, nearly killing him. But his father survived, but he lost an eye and an ear. This guy, Danny, needs help. This guy, Danny, needs to be put away. This guy, Danny, is your boogeyman and your raging Gainesville Jack the Ripper. So then Danny decided to change his identity with papers he stole from breaking into someone's house. So he fled Shreveport, Louisiana, and then headed out to Sarasota, Florida. There, he started his new life as Michael Kennedy Jr., in July of 1990. Be careful of the fake Michael Kennedy Jr. So in August 24, 1990, Danny broke into the home of Sonia Larson and Christine Powell. They were both freshmen at the University of Florida in Gainesville, and this would start a 3-day terror at the University of Florida. Danny abducted the women and put duct tape on their mouths, and he bound their hands. He forced one woman to perform oral sex, and then he raped and stabbed and killed her. Then he returned to Sonia's dead body and raped her again, they said. They said he was very Jack the Ripper-like because he cut the girl's nipples and kept one as his souvenir trophy for his atrocious deed. Then the next day, Danny would find Krista Hoyt and abduct her, capture her, break into her residence, raped her. Then he cut and removed her nipples and then placed them beside her. This is really horrific. You ready to scream? That is just sick and twisted. So then, to make matters worse, this Jack the Ripper, this Gainesville Ripper, Danny cut off her head, and he put her upright on her bed, and then he put her head on a bookshelf. This sick, twisted monster just needs to be locked up. And then on August 27th, Danny would attack Tracy Pauls and Manuel Taboada. They were both 23. He killed Taboada while he slept, and then he killed Tracy. These bodies were not mutilated, so the authorities think he was either interrupted and fled. So, and also these murders all occurred less than 2 miles from each other, all around the University of Florida, which was really, it caused, the university canceled classes. Students did walk around with baseball bats, and everyone was scared. There was just panic and fear that gripped the entire campus. I mean, this was just shocking news. Students just, some slept in shifts, some were awake at night. They locked their doors. And even at the end of August, thousands of students left campus, and 700 never came back because they feared for their lives from this monster. Then the police could never find enough evidence in the crime scene, so Danny actually never got caught for these murders. But when the duct tape on the dead bodies, he instead of leaving the duct tape on the dead bodies, he disposed of it in dumpsters to get rid of any fingerprints. And he also used cleaning solvents on the dead bodies to remove any traces of semen. So this guy came prepared. So maybe he learned some things from his father, the cop. And he left the female bodies in sexual positions, and was just his serial killer, his traits. And he continued stealing from homes and gas stations until finally he was caught in Ocala, Florida, in a high-speed chase. and he was wanted for the robbery of a Winn-Dixie. And in September 8th, 2 weeks after the murders. So when they had their suspect, they caught him in January 1991 when he was breaking into another house, and Danny Rollins' DNA was similar left on the DNA left of the Gainesville murder scenes to charge him with murder, but they only knew that he was the Gainesville Ripper because he confessed to being the Gainesville Ripper. He actually confessed when he was caught for stealing, so that's how they caught him. And then he was he confessed, and so then they were able to convict him, and he was executed on October 25th, 2006 in Florida. So we will say goodbye to this serial killer, and thank goodness he was caught, because this guy's life was twisted and demented, and he had a rough start, but his rage and anger and mental stability was just not safe to be around the human public. So we're glad that they finally caught him. And so thank you for listening. Thank you for enjoying the show, and have a great day.